What is on top of the deck? What is on top of the deck? Oh, it's Lightning Helix! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Welcome to Hunt the Week.
Hello everyone and welcome into the show. Well, come on in, each and every one of you. Come on in here and have a seat. Where are my Naya drafters at? Where are my Absanners? Get those banners up. I'm rooting for you. Where my Saltai heads at? I love me a Saltai head. Where my Saltai head at? Where my Bug brothers? And my is it drafters? Magic pun and reference. Hey everybody. Welcome in everybody. Welcome to the show. This is of course Hunt the Week. It is a weekly podcast on the Sealed Arena Magic Gauntlet that you all know and love, and we are deep in Dom U, wrapping up week 2 and starting week 3. I am, of course, your host with the most, your Goku or go home, your Don, John DeMarco, and I'm here to take you on a trip through the league this week, and you're getting a day early episode, so lucky you. You're getting it a day early because I'm actually going to be out of town this weekend. I'm going to California to go watch a football game. Go me, go Chargers. And so I got to do this today. I got to do it today because I got a lot to do tomorrow. I got to pack. I put that off to the last minute. Of course I did. Of course. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You don't need any of that stuff. You need to know how I did. Let's keep talking about me, huh? Oh, wow. This show's great. What a great topic. How did I do week 2 of Sealed Dominaria League? Now, you may know in week 1 I was playing a Naya deck that I piloted to 4-1 that I thought was hot garbage. I did not like this deck. It basically was relying on small creatures and pump spells to try to get wins, and it worked in week 1. And in week 2, I lost my first match immediately to Emmett, and I thought, I'm done with this deck. And I opened up Drag to the bottom, and I built Grixis Control, which I went, won my next 3, lost my last one. We'll get to that a little later. But I finished 3-2 on the week. But you know what? I like this deck. I like this deck a lot. I like it a lot more than the deck I was playing. It's way more my speed, and it's way more my style. And I opened a Joda's Codex, which is like exactly what I needed. It was just some nice card draw to go with all the control, all the kill spells I had. Really, if I could just open a finisher or maybe some more card draw, I think I'll be okay. Because my removal, I'm happy with it. I'm feeling good. Currently sitting at 7-3. And I like this deck. I like this format. And I got a lot to say about it. So let's get to the kicker.
I'm the kicker. K-I-C-K-E-R.
Yes, that's right. It's the kicker. K-I-C-K-E-R. Here we are together. Let's take a look at our current top 8 in the Dominaria United League. As I record, it is Wednesday at about 6 p.m. Number 1, we have Justin P. Cold Pigeon, 9-1. Emmett F. Sepulcher, 8-2. Johnny M. Johnny, 8-2. These names sound familiar to you? Is this a rehash of Player of the Year? What's going on? Ragu B. Midnight Falcon, 8-2. Jordan M. J.M. Tron, 8-2. Jeremy E. Lurgoyf, 7-3. John P. Goku or Go Home, Ring-a-Ding-Ding, 7-3. Nick S. and GC. Sorry, I got. What is that supposed to be? I always do this to you, and I'm sorry. Najisi. 7-3. So 9-1 to 7-3. Nobody's undefeated anymore. Well, that's not true. There's someone who's 5-0, but they haven't played any games yet. So, Seductive Turtle, Gerardo, get up on that. And yeah, the format's looking good. It's feeling good. People's decks are starting to come together. I know mine is. And I'm seeing a lot of powerful, cool stuff opened. And we're spreading it across all the packs, right? We're spreading it across Neo and Dom and Mid-Vow. Very cool to be seeing the diversity that is emerging out there. And this week we're talking mulligans. Let's talk about taking a mulligan, okay? Let's talk about going down to 6 and what's a good 5. I am seeing a lot of people not necessarily losing because of the shuffler, but I'm seeing, a lot of these games are decided by someone just not finding their land, not finding their color, not playing the game, right? And that's something you want to avoid, is just not playing the game. You want to be able to give yourself a chance and an opportunity to at least play. So we are going to talk about mulliganing and what it means to me and what I think it should mean to you, okay? No one likes going down to 6, right? Going down to 6 is not a good feeling. But if you're going to do it, commit to it, okay? I don't like keeping a hand that, if I look at it, relies on me to draw something. In my feature match against Ryan, I had a hand of 3 lands, a red land, a blue land, and a red-blue split land, 2 black cards, 4-drop red card, and 8-drop red card. So there's some good cards in there. They were all actually pretty good, but I was missing black. And I don't want to rely on drawing black, even in my control deck. Like, I only had 1 castable card in my hand, and that was if I drew a land, which I probably will, but I might not. And if I don't, I'm probably not doing anything, and I'm probably losing that game. Like, if I look at my hand and I can't cast something, or if I'm thinking I need to draw a land for this hand to do something, it's not something I'm excited to keep, especially when I'm at 7. And then we go to 6, right? If you can't keep a good 7, you have to be a little bit more reasonable with your 6. Because you put your 7 back for a reason, right? Either you didn't have enough lands, maybe you had too many lands. But really, I'm talking about hands that don't do anything. Hands that don't cast cards. And how, even if you're like, if I draw 1 green source, even if I draw any land, even if I get a tap land, this hand goes off. I don't think you want to put yourself in that position. So we go to 6, and you need to be more reasonable. 3 lands, basically anything else, good to go. I'm more open to keeping a 2-land 6 hand than I am a 2-land 7 hand. That, of course, depends on what's in the hand. But just, statistically speaking, I hate going to 5. I'll only go to 5 if the 6 is literally unplayable, like no lands. I might keep an all land 6. I might, instead of going to 5. But if it's like 1 land and a bunch of 4 drops, literally unplayable, I'm going to 5. And I am very, very rarely mulliganing to 4. I don't care what the 5 is. If it's got a land in it, I'm probably keeping it. Like, I probably am, because I just don't like going to 4. I won on a mull to 4, maybe once. But it better be a good 4. Jeez. So don't be afraid to mulligan, Don't be afraid to look for something better. If you're playing a control deck and you got a handful of creatures and no spells or counters, that might not be what you want your deck to be doing. If you're playing an aggro deck and you draw all your heroic charges, maybe that's not a hand you want to keep. I'm not saying this is true for everyone, and of course there are instances here and there and certain cards that make certain things matter. I'm speaking from a very broad point here, right? A very broad brushstroke. But we're talking mulliganings, and I think it's okay to go to 6. I think there's a fear and a hatred of going down to 6 cards, and I don't think we should be following those rules, right? A good 6 is better than a bad 7. And that's something you got to say to yourself. You got to believe it. You got to feel it. But a good 6 can get you there. A great 5 will get a good player there in the right circumstances, and that player could be you. This week, I sat down with a new player. That's right, I finally got one on. Boy, were they a joy to talk to. Please join me while I enlist.
So we're all dog faces. We're all very, very different. But there is one thing that we all have in common. We were all stupid enough to enlist in the Army.
That's right. This week, I enlisted John R. Ged on the server, GED. We talked about being a new player. We talked about Magic. It was great. It was a great time. They're awesome. They're super cool. And we had our video on. I don't usually do video records, but they kept their video on, and I kept my video on, and it was fun. They were very nice. They were very wonderful. Let's play that interview now. All right, everyone. Join me as I enlist none other than John R. _Ged on the Discord server. John, welcome to the show.
Well, it's nice to be here.
Hey, thanks for coming on. You're a new player. You reached out. You said you were a fan, and I was looking to get a new player on this week, and bada bing, bada boom, it all worked out. Happy to
Yes, it
have you
did.
on. Uh, I got to give you my first question. Always ask this question. When did you start playing Magic, John?
30 years ago.
30 years. What was your first set?
First set was probably unlimited, but I was
Okay.
too young to tell the difference between revised and unlimited. But started playing in 1994 in sixth
Oof.
grade.
Oof.
And at that time, there were still the anti cards.
Oh, yeah.
And we played at our middle school for about 3 weeks before it got banned
Really?
because of the anti mechanics.
The school said it was gambling or?
It was gambling.
Yeah.
I'm sure a few kids complained that they had lost cards. None
Yeah.
of my friends were doing the anti stuff to trade off cards. We were trading. We were sixth graders, so there was probably a lot of unfair trades.
Oh, of course. Yeah. I remember bringing a binder of foil like X-Men cards to elementary school and trying to trade with people. And,
Right.
who knows what was worth what or anything back then? You just like, it's shiny and it's Gambit. So I want it.
Yeah,
That's really all that
exactly.
mattered.
Yeah. And I played for a few years, and then probably by the middle of high school, my friend group changed,
Uh huh.
and we weren't playing any blacktop Magic anymore. And I fell out of it until this past year when a neighbor had was organizing his Magic collection.
Oh, that's really
It was all
cool.
out on the table, and our little kids were playing together.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well, do you remember how to play?" And I said, "I think so." And we played a very long game of one-on-one Commander.
Oh, yeah. That's a long haul right there.
Right.
So were you like,
Uh,
is mana burn still a thing? Were you like, did you have all these old mechanics like this damage on go on the stack?
Right.
Uh,
Well, I don't think I was ever sophisticated enough as a middle schooler to work out damage on the stack. But there was this point where I was trying to calculate how I wasn't going to get burned. And the neighbor said, "What are you doing?" And I explained to him. He's like, "Oh, no, that's not a rule."
that I could see that being really confusing to have played like an early Magic. And a lot of people I know in the league I've talked to, like they used to play back then, they take a long break, they
Right.
come back sometime in like the last 5 years, and things have changed so much,
Mm-hmm.
from mythics to planeswalkers to mana burn to anti. Um, I can see that being a very strange experience to be like, is this even the Magic I really knew? Even the card art isn't what it used to be, right? It used to be a lot
Right.
creepier and weirder. Um,
Yes.
these days, it's all kind of beautiful and looks like a painting.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see that being an interesting way to get back into it and to go with Commander, which wasn't a thing back then. So it's a whole different format. That sounds fun. Did you have a good time with playing your Commander game, getting back into it?
Yeah, it's kind of why I'm here today. A year later, I've, just kind of bought into the whole life.
Yeah. Well, welcome. Welcome to all the Magic players in the league. Welcome, John, a new player. We got to ask you some new player questions because I think it's very important for the league to hear from a new player and get their perspective. So I appreciate you as a new player coming on to this maybe scary podcast, and it's super cool you're doing so. So, John, how did you find the league first off? I'm interested to hear about how you came. Did you know somebody in it? Did you just stumble upon it somewhere? What was that like?
Probably more of the stumble. Like I said, I started back playing Magic about a year ago,
Uh huh.
and I'd say midway through Streets of New Capenna, I got into limited, um,
Yeah.
and was playing a little bit at our local LGS, and then got Arena and started learning my way around. And I was following limited level ups and was in their Discord.
Oh, cool.
And uh, this thickness, Ryan, he had
Yeah.
posted a little blurb about the league a few weeks ago, and I thought I'd try it out. So
Ryan
that's how I
D.
found you all.
Now, Ryan D, the slickness, he was a riveteer. I'm actually, so I record on Monday. I am playing Ryan tonight in a feature match.
Okay.
Ryan, I don't think I've ever beaten Ryan. Ryan is a great player. Ryan's a super nice guy. I'm glad to hear that recruiting effort does work. Because we all
It
kind of like
does.
post on Reddits and Discords around the start of a new league. And I came in, I had a friend who brought me in. So I didn't come in through that way, but it's good to know that, people are out there looking and responding to the interactions that we post out there. John, I want to hear about the new player experience. You're new to the league. There's probably a lot of differences, 60 card decks. Lose open a pack, very different than a lot of Magic you play out there. So
Right.
I want to know the good and the bad from you as a new player coming in out of the blue. What's your experience been like?
Well, overall, great.
Wonderful.
I think the one hang up was thinking about drafting and that sort of limited experience.
Sure.
But then coming in and getting basically a sealed deck.
Yep.
And then having to create bigger than a sealed deck.
Yeah.
Was a little struggle. Sort of find my feet. So I think that's been like the only negative, but that's only going to happen once.
Yeah.
Right?
Did you know it was 60 card coming in, or did you come in thinking it was 40 and then, oops, it's 60? I got to figure this out.
I came in I registered half reading the rules.
Sure.
And then after I registered and was part of the Discord, I started paying attention to the rules and was like,
Yeah.
a 60 card deck. That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And then, picked it up from there.
60 card. I wasn't a huge fan of it at first, coming from limited. It's 40 cards all the time, everywhere you go. You're used to your 40 card deck. But the way this league is ran and the way the punishment packs work, how you get so many packs, 60 cards works out very well in the end, I think, because week one, even people with busted rares, it's 60 cards, right? Like they got to find that thing in there somewhere. So like the odds of them getting it, they're not great. And then as you go, your deck becomes more and more powerful throughout the entire thing. And it's a great way of balancing out these people with strong pools early and the people that, get a couple losses, but then there's a lot more room to take cards out aren't good. Instead of trying to fiddle with like the best 40. I think finding the best 60 gives you a lot more room for error because there's just so many spots to fill. But yeah, it's different, right? It's a different thing.
And I mean, that's, no fault to the structure. Actually, I like it. And around town, we run a little Magic group, and we do occasionally do sealed. And this might be something that I sort of incorporate into our little group where don't build a 40 card deck. Let's go for a 60 card deck.
Yeah.
Just to get a little bit more variability. And then it's not all just depends on what you opened.
Yeah, and also you could do more than just 6 packs in a 60 card deck. It's easy to go like 8 pack, 9 pack, 10 pack, or like more. Because building the 60 cards with 6 is tough. Like you're playing some stinky cards week one when you're starting.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, my first week was just bad. I was trying to run 3 colors.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't the best to go Naya.
As a Naya player in week one, I feel you. It doesn't feel like a super strong color pair, but there's not really a lot of options. I don't think many people could go 2 colors in week one.
Well, my mistake was I opened up the Archangel of Wrath.
Oh, great card.
I have to play this.
You have to.
So, my thinking like 40 card mentality was like, I will eventually get to play this. And I think in all the practice matches and in the first week of games, I played it. Well, I'd say the first 3 games. Or first 3 matches. I played it once out of maybe like 10 full matches after practice. And it's like, this isn't going to work. And it forced me to be 5 color if I wanted to get that extra kicker in.
Yeah.
So then I pared it down and went back to basics and have been doing okay since.
Hey, there you go. Pare it down. Find your niche. Find your deck. It's really all about the commons and uncommons that fill the deck.
Right.
More so than the rares, right? Although that's probably a top 5 rare in the set, I got to imagine. That's a very good game-winning card.
It fights for first or second place.
Yeah, it's probably that or maybe that, Shieldred, and maybe Drag to the Bottom. I've been real impressed with Drag to the Bottom. That card is gross. But Shieldred, I hate that card. All right, so let's talk about Domu. How's your deck doing, and how are you enjoying the format? So you were on Naya. Now feel free. You don't have to put your deck out there if you want to keep it secret, keep it safe. That's totally cool. But how's your deck? How are you liking the format?
I think my deck has finally come together. The first week, my first 3 matches, my first 4 matches were losses.
Oof.
tweaked the deck away from Naya, and I've now are on a mini streak. Knock
Nice.
on wood
Yeah.
here. But it's I opened up 2 of the elf lords
Okay.
in the initial pool.
Yeah.
So now I am elf tribal.
Oh, I love you. Are you making that work?
It occasionally comes together.
That's great.
But luckily there's enough, right? Because with 60 cards,
Yeah.
I think I only have 12 elves,
That's still a lot.
and then a whole bunch of domain,
Yeah.
red and green type stuff.
Sure.
So,
What are
and
you opening?
You know who's the best elf?
Is it I would guess the green one that draws cards, right? Is that the best elf or no?
Well, that's the elf lord that draws you the cards.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the best elf?
Outrider.
Oh, Outrider's an elf?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem fair. That card does so much. It blocks
I think
flyers.
it's an elf. I'll have to double check, but
Gosh, I hope it is
I
now.
say that's an elf.
You know what? If it is an elf, that card.
Oh yeah,
So
it's
much.
Miria's Outrider, and Miria's an elf. So yeah.
4/4 for 5 with reach, not bad stats. And then it's usually hitting face for like at least 3, if not 4 or 5.
Right.
And then people, they loop it out of their graveyard, they bounce it back to hand.
Yeah.
That card is an all-star, man. That card is very, very good.
I always worry when I get down to 6 health,
Mm-hmm.
when I'm playing anywhere
Yeah.
nowadays. Am I gonna get Miria's Outrider and then take a lightning bolt to the face?
Yep.
It's coming.
Yeah. You got to keep your life total pretty high because people can just kind of get you out of nowhere right now.
Right. All that trample.
So what is your record and what packs are you opening?
So far, the record's 3 and 4.
All right.
And I've opened mostly Dominaria.
Okay.
And then now that I feel that I've got like a solid mana base, I've begun my last loss. What I opened up a SNC.
Yeah.
Partly because there are I'm going after the creature landfall, the alliance.
Yeah.
And the elves.
Yep, because there's plenty of them in there to grab. Yeah,
Right,
and good fixing.
Yeah, the fixing is good. I don't know how the sack lands would work, but I don't think it's appropriate to chase one of the triomes.
That's really great in this set, though, isn't it? Though, like a 3, like for domain, like the triome is great. I know you don't.
Triomes would be great.
Yeah,
but I don't think I could like authentically try to chase one.
No. But if you get one, it's a nice bonus where it's not just kind of like, oh, I opened a rare land. It's like, all right, I'm in domain, and this is 3 of my things, right? Like,
yeah, definitely.
That's big game right there. All right, John. This is I got 2 more questions, and these are newer questions. You may see me asking some people as they come on the podcast. So,
okay.
One of my new questions is, what's one thing you would change about the league, good or bad? You know, as a new person, a lot of the stuff is entrenched in here for a reason,
right?
But what's one thing that you would change?
Isn't there like an old adage where you're not supposed to go into an organization and start demanding changes until you've been part of the organization for 6 months?
That's fair.
I mean, in all honesty, I think I signed up 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Right.
So you're a newbie. You're very new.
Extreme newbie. So I'm still figuring out how things function. So I think the simple answer here has to be, at the moment, I wouldn't want to change anything.
Oh.
In fact, I want to lean into some of what I'm seeing as strengths, right?
Okay, like what strengths do you see? Let's talk about that.
Well, I've been a part of a number of Discord channels, and everybody's happy to give advice in the Discord, right?
Yeah.
But very rarely do people jump into a voice chat or will play each other and actually either be chatting, text on the Discord or actually talking to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And through the practice matches, that I just thought was phenomenal.
Isn't that fun?
You get, free attention is always good.
Yeah.
And then last night, Richard and Kyle convinced me to jump into a chat and do some drafting with them. And we didn't have the best packs, so we did the best we could. But I thought the advice was helpful.
Yeah.
And, it was pointing out that I was navigating drafts okay, and that I need to improve some of my gameplay. So
Yeah.
I think just like the camaraderie and the friendship that comes out of the league, at least in these last 2 weeks, is awesome.
This has overtaken Friday Night Magic for me, but it is a great place just to come and play Magic, especially if you're playing Arena. Like it's easy to slot these games in and make some friends along the way. Again, lots of really wonderful people in the league from all over the world, who you may never even talk to if something like this wasn't going on. All right, John. Well, our last question this week, another new question we'll be asking some people as they come on is, what is your greatest Magic achievement or accomplishment? This could be anything, a spike to Friday Night Magic, won a pre-release. For Johnny, it might be he was on the Pro Tour for a little bit. Right. So there's a range, right? That's kind of what I'm looking for here. Is what, as John, as you, what is your greatest Magic accomplishment? Could be you cracked a Lotus back in the day. It doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be.
I wish.
All right.
Of course, it would. If I did, it would probably have a lot of blacktop stuff on it. I'd say it's more of a. My achievement would probably be the sort of community that I helped to create in our local area.
Awesome.
So we have a pretty standard Saturday nights commander night.
Okay.
That is out of hand. It's not CEDH by any means, but everything is fully optimized. People are proxying the heck out of cards, and that's fine, right? But it doesn't allow it didn't allow a bunch of us to sort of experiment and just try out fun things and play with the cards that we actually have, rather than making sure that we have all these land proxies so our mana base is quick and whatnot. So I'd say in April, 4 of us got together and we just started a group. It was just us getting together to have a small pod. And then in the last 6 months, well, I guess it's not even been 6 months, we've grown to 30 people.
Wow.
Now, next door, just down the street, I've got a state university. So I'd say half of our membership is college students. So it can kind of increase a little bit. They bring along a friend. Yeah. But we got 30 people who show up semi-regularly. And we've got people who are playing top end, fully optimized commander. And we've got tables where people are, it's their second week of playing Magic. They're borrowed one of our janky decks and they're just kind of learning the ropes. It's great.
That's awesome, man. What a cool thing to be a part of, to start a community in your local area. That's really cool. I got to ask you, who's your go-to commander?
My go-to commander.
Yeah. What's your favorite commander deck?
Well, I say I have 2.
Okay.
So my favorite is Toulouse.
Okay.
So this is a legendary from Streets of New Capenna that cares about discarding cards. So you discard, anytime you discard a card, and she's out, you can exile the card under her, and if she dies, it comes back to hand.
Yep.
So it's really just kind of playing around with discard strategies, drawing strategies.
That's fun.
Kind of having fun that way.
Yeah, lots of card advantage, right?
The high-powered tables I end up on the Saturday night.
Oh, that's awesome.
But one of my new favorite decks is to play a deck that I have named after myself. So it's John Arenicus, and then Ramses the Assassin Lord. So that kind of like indicates my name. But it's a rule 0 conversation because they're not partners.
Yeah.
And basically I, with John Arenicus, give people stupid cards.
Yeah.
And then I wait until the end game and swing in with an assassin with Ramses. And I got really excited when they, made a new Ramses card.
Yeah.
Because they used to have Ramses Overdark.
Okay.
Back in the day from the original Legends. And that was fun. And when I got back into Commander, I was like, I want to go find that card. And it turned out it was like $200.
Oh, God.
I was like, nah. But yeah, those are my 2 favorite Commander decks.
Well, that's awesome. That sounds really cool and really fun. John, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate it. I know the league
was a lot of fun.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I'm going to be watching your name out in there. I'm going to see how you do. I'm going to keep an eye on your record from here on out.
Give me 3 seasons.
3 seasons?
Hey. 3 of these leagues, and then let me just get my feet.
Hey, that's fair. It's the first one's always practice anyway, right? You're figuring out what's going on. You're just practicing. Well, John, I appreciate you coming on the show. John R., everybody. New player. Let's welcome him and all the other new players to the league. And it is Monday, so I record on Monday. Tonight, I'm playing Ryan D. To find out how that match went, let's throw it back to John in the studio. Thanks, John. Back to me. Well, how did it go? I got crushed. I got stomped real hard by Ryan. It was fun being a part of that thing. There's a lot of hype. Richard does, card art, game in the middle of it. That's really fun. Please be a part of it. It's great. These things only continue if people enjoy them and participate. So go do that. Go be a part of the league. A Monday night feature match. And then when I come back in town, I can watch it because I'm not going to be in town this weekend. I'm going to miss them on Monday. So play so I can watch. If nothing else, give me something to look at, huh? And that's it. That's the show. Week 2, it's starting to end. Week 3, we're starting up. This is the week where we start getting people eliminated. Not a lot of people will be eliminated, but a few. A few people will go away, and we will have to say goodbye to them a very certain way that I haven't decided on yet. But we'll find out what I decided on next week. I'm going to have to come up with something. And we're going to see who can stick it up in this top 8, who can pull away with a couple good, strong weeks, and who's going to fall down. And maybe who are some of these 9 to 16, 9 to 20 players that are going to pick it up, and show who they are and make their first mega draft. I'm excited to see who it is. And I'm going to be rooting for you. That's right. I'm rooting for you out there. And as long as you're not playing me, I'm rooting for you. Okay, Ryan? Good on you. You got one. You got one on me. But hey, next one's my turn, okay? All right. Until next time, I hope you get to keep a good 7 and the shuffler is in your favor. Bye, everybody.